Oh. If you're like me, you're loving the fall. I got the fleece out. I got the jeans out. It is just so comfy. And if you love fall, the other thing that fall brings is 3 chances for you to see me and Jenny. And on the West Coast, you can see Fumi at our different live things happening. So October 14th, there's going to be our Hack City stand-up show. That's at Union Hall in Brooklyn. So you can check that out October 14th. October 20th, if you're in Los Angeles, you can see Hack City West Coast. That's with Fumi. That's at Hotel Ziggy in West Hollywood. And then on October 28th, we're doing a live Asian Not Asian podcast. So we're going to do a live taping. That's going to be at Caveat. That's in Lower East Side in New York City. That's also going to be live streamed. Okay, so you can get tickets for all that in the episode description. Again, that's October 14th, Hack City stand-up show. October 20th in LA, Hack City in West Hollywood. And then October 28th, a live episode recording. That's a Caveat. Yeah, come check us out. Bring the kids. Maybe don't bring the kids, but bring yourself and bring some good friends. And come hang out with us, man. We'll see you soon.
And I hope this is cool to talk about. Yeah, you saved yourself for marriage.
Yeah.
And welcome everybody to a special episode of the Asian Not Asian podcast. A special, dare I say, sexy slumber party edition. I'm your host, Mike Nguyen. Jenny is out right now. She is, as of recording, she's now back. But when we were planning this episode, she was out, visiting some people out in California, and I think she's having a good time. So it's just me holding down the fort. It is a late night because the guest we have is on the West Coast, and we'll get into it. But, it's a special slumber party edition, which is why if you see me, I'm in my office / child's room, and I'm wearing jammies kind of, and I'm just getting cozy. I got my hot water. Oh, man. Woo! Man, you want a dirty podcast? Just wait until there's a 40-year-old Asian guy with hot water. It's great. Very quickly, normally we do Patreon shoutouts, but we're going to hold off on those until Jenny comes back. But please, if you want to support the podcast, just go to patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod. You can get, all sorts of little special perks. We slide into DMs. We guess what kind of ethnicity you are on the podcast. There's Patreon hangouts. There's a Patreon hangout this weekend. And yeah, it's a lot of fun, and you can get on there. Again, that's patreon.com/AsianNotAsianPod. Check that out. I want to get onto our guest because this is a special guest. And I really wanted to think who's somebody I really wanted to vibe with. And I will tell you, in case you don't know, because this is a podcast. My guest is white, and I'm all about diversity on this show. And since season 2, I don't think we've had any non-Asian people. I have to go back and think. I'm pretty sure we haven't. But I wanted to have this guest on because, he and I go way back, even though we never really spoke all that much before. We go way back. And so I want you to help me welcome onto this podcast. He's a writer. He's a dad. He's a nice boy. I feel he's a nice boy. He can tell me if he is or not. Give it up right now for Paul Schissler, everybody.
Just humbled by the intro. Thankful. Also sorry, to some listeners, humbled, thankful to be here, and also sorry.
That's the kind of energy we want. Contrition.
Yeah,
right away.
Yeah, it's like, my wife and I watch a lot of Korean dramas, and every time there's like a white actor on there, it's going to be bad. The acting is just bad.
Horrible.
So I'm going to try to not be that
Yeah.
cast member.
Try not to be the really weird actors who are in Squid Games, like those really weird. I don't
Just
know.
like cast off Reddit, maybe.
I was just like, this is clearly somebody's like cousin's husband. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Yeah, they were just like, hey Gina, get somebody's husband up in here. So I think, but no, thank you for doing the show. There's a lot of you and I go back. We were doing mics together a long time ago.
Yeah.
Now you're out in California. One thing, well, I like to do this for our guests. We call it Minute to Win It. Just introduce yourself to the fans, who you are. You got a minute. You got to use a whole minute.
Love it.
Ready?
Let's do it.
Do it. Go.
Nice boy. Yeah, but I'm like, a bad butt, like I'm PG-16 nice boy.
Okay.
If you feel me. I'm out in LA now, but lived in New York City. That's where I met my wife. We met at church. We were friends for 2.5 years.
Oh, wow.
And then, the scales were lifted and I was like, why am I not, dating Esther? And so rewind past that, I went to school in the South. I was raised in the South and I was like the one family member to leave the South. And when I went up to New York City, everyone's kind of like, why are you doing this? But I moved up to New York to pursue stand-up comedy. I've been doing that for 9 years. And rewind past that, raised by a single mom. She's a champion and I want to be a parent like her. And so that's what I think about every day when we got 2 little kids of our own, 2 little boys. And I think like, how the hell did my mom do this by herself with 3 kids?
Yes.
I'm failing with a partner, 2 kids.
Yes. There you go. That was your minute right there. That was good, man. And for our guests for our listeners who may be skeptical, marrying a Korean woman named Esther, that's pretty Asian. That's a pretty Asian move.
Yeah.
Is there a particular denomination of Christian you guys are?
Just the one true Christianity,
Islam?
yeah, we go deep.
We go hardcore.
It's an Islam-Jewish hybrid called Christianity. I grew up Methodist, but then I moved to New York and started going to a Presbyterian church. So
okay. Is there like a big adjustment? I mean, I don't know that much.
Not really. I feel like Presbyterians are attract a more like intellectual person. So I think that does well in New York City where people are like, I got questions. And they're like, yeah, let's talk about questions.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. And before we started recording, I called you a youth pastor. You have youth pastor vibes. I feel you're about to bust out in like a relatable rap any second,
Yeah.
Were you ever a youth pastor? Were you ever, because you should think about it, but I don't know.
No, God, no.
No, why?
But like during open mics and comedy in New York, I would get that comment a lot. Like, hey, it'd be a youth pastor. Like, were you a youth pastor?
Yeah.
And no, but like, so my my wife's dad, my father-in-law, is a pastor.
Okay. Wow.
Pastor of a Korean church in San Diego. And so when my mother-in-law, when they like found out that I do stand-up comedy, they're just kind of like, that's not in their world. So they don't understand like, what does that mean for a job or a career or anything? So like, since we got married, I think she's just been hoping that I become a pastor one day. She's like, you're Christian, you speak on stage. But no.
Okay. I mean, yeah. I sometimes think about it because I mean, pastors are, they get a lot of stage time,
Dude, I've had this conversation with so many pastors.
You get an hour guaranteed a week. That's pretty good.
Zero open mics. I mean, it's the first time you're delivering your 30 to 45 minute spiel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's I mean, if you think about it, it's actually, I think, very impressive. It's just, it's like untested material. And we all know like the basic setup, you know, God is good, blah, blah, blah. But like you got to make it your own. I mean, I don't know. I think that's pretty ballsy. So anyways, just think about it. We like to start off the show by asking each other what kind of Asian we were this week. You will be the first person I've ever asked who on the surface is not Asian, but you know what? I'm going to dig into it. Paul, what kind of Asian were you this week?
Yeah. Just a real authentic Asian. No, this week I've been just trying my hardest, but feeling like a failure the whole time.
Wow. What happened? Yeah. What's going on?
It's the whole thing of like constantly feeling like I need to be a better dad. I need to be more present with my kids. I need to be a better husband and support my wife more.
Yes.
While also like I have to work hard and make money. And then also like I want to be pursuing my comedy career. And then when I feel like I'm failing at every single one of these spheres while trying to pursue it all. And like working, and then my son comes in and he's like, he just sees me at a computer working and I'm like, I can't play with you. And then he walks away and I'm like, fuck, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. But then, and then the fact is you're not even working. You're just on Reddit, I assume. I'm not even working. Yeah.
I'm just scrolling podcast clips for 3 hours.
Dude, that is so real, dude. I mean, we can tie our stories together. You can ask me what kind of Asian I was. It's kind of like how I can't pour my own drink. You got to ask me. You know? So,
yeah. 2 hands. Let me pour.
Yeah, exactly. You got to ask me.
Yeah. Okay. So, Mike, what kind of Asian have you been this week?
Oh man, I've been a back to work Asian. My parental leave ended. I had we have very generous parental leave for my work and through the state of New York, and it ended, but I still get to work from home for this week because my childcare kind of kicks in next week. And it's tough. I mean, it is very hard to check emails or do any kind of work when you have a 6-month-old, right? And there's so much time. There's so many times where, you know, after work or whatever, and I'm taking care of my son. And hey, I love my son, but he's not much of a conversationalist yet. He can't really. He can roll back. He can roll on his stomach and go back and forth. He's getting some hand motor skills, but there's a lot of times where I'm just hugging him. I just have to hold him, and the only thing I can really do is scroll on my phone, and I'm on my phone all the time. And it's not because I want to. It's literally all I can do. It's either hold my son and look at Instagram, or hold my son and do absolutely nothing else, because he like occupies so much of my physicality, my physical space, my brain space.
You just gotta, you know what you do with that hand?
Yeah.
You just place it on him and pray for him.
Please, Lord, can I have better Wi-Fi? That's what I'm asking for.
But I get that, and because children are so all-consuming, you just want to I just want to mentally detach for like 10 minutes and just mindlessly scroll. That's what I get into. Dude,
so my son will take naps throughout the day now, and not very long naps. Sometimes he goes down for like a long time, but most of the time it's like 20 minutes. And I know that I'm like, oh man, I gotta like empty the dishwasher. I gotta like, get back to my boss who's texting me. I gotta like fucking, take a dump.
Yeah.
Nope. I'm just mindlessly scrolling for like 19 of those minutes.
I'm there with you every day. And then you feel like shit afterwards.
Yes.
You're like, oh, if I was a better dad, I would have taken care of stuff.
Well, one thing I was thinking too is so my family, my sister was and her family they were nice enough to come out here to visit me from California. They just had a son, and their son is like 2 weeks younger than my son, and it's awesome that they're really close in age together.
Yeah.
But my nephew, my sister's son, is doing all stuff, eating and doing only babbling a lot. And I was like, dude, am I not talking to my son enough? And then I thought about it. I look back into my 8 weeks of parental leave, and I was like, should I have been training my son in like martial arts or like spent this time?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like teaching him grammar or something like that. And like I'm like, because most of the time, I honestly just like went on long walks with him. Like I would strap him on and I would just like walk around the neighborhood and I would talk to myself in my brain because I'm like a neurotic comedian. But I was like, should I have been talking to my son out loud? And I'm like, oh, was that just a huge wasted opportunity, you know?
So I had a conversation with a friend who has kids right before I became a dad, and he was like, you have to talk out loud because he knows I'm an internal processor.
Yeah, same.
And me too. And so I was like freaked out about that. And he's like, you have to like just say he was like, everything you're saying in your head, just say it out loud so he can hear you talking. And that was I was really paranoid about that.
Dude, I'm going to try to start doing that. But like, I swear most of my internal monologue is just long monologues of me explaining why Kanye West is so important to streetwear. That's like the
and your son has to know, you got to know early.
Let me tell you, okay, he's crazy now, but he did a ton of stuff for streetwear. So yeah, okay, that's cool. That's good to know, and that's good to know what kind of Asian you were, and I'm glad that we're both the same kind of Asian.
It's good to open up and connect on this level.
Connect about being what kind of Asian we were. Yeah, you're Paul. My first question: you're a white dude. How's that going?
Pretty up and down track record.
I guess what I really want to know is, you have your wife is Korean American. Is she from California? She like grew up in California?
She was born in Boston. Like her family came to Boston, and her dad went to MIT, and then they moved to California.
Damn, he went to MIT and then he became a pastor?
Dude, he went to the top university, Seouldae,
right.
Top university in Korea.
Right.
Her mom went to the top women's university in Korea.
Right.
It was like back in the 70s. And then they came over, and then he went to MIT and got an aquatic engineering degree.
Jesus.
And then he was like, hey, I'm going to be a pastor. And they moved to California.
God. Wow.
Yeah.
I mean, if you think about it, that is pursuing comedy for that generation. Right?
Yeah.
I mean, his parents must have been okay. Well, that's great. I mean, so, I used to have a kind of like a bad joke about like, oh, I'm in an interracial marriage because I'm Vietnamese and my wife is Korean. And like even only Asian people would get it, and nobody else would, but because of like the difference in culture. But you are in one. Did it take a while? Did it take a while for for her parents, or even I guess maybe your mom, to kind of like get used to this idea that she's Korean and you're gonna have biracial children and stuff?
Yeah, it's interesting. So like, I think my family always expected that I would marry white Southern girl because that's what we grew up in.
Yeah,
and I think my wife's family probably expected her to marry a Korean guy because they're very much just in a Korean culture in California. Like her dad has a Korean church, and so but I think what like was the biggest thing, and like the only thing that either family cared about is like, oh, you're Christian, God-fearing person. So that was like that.
Yeah,
trumped everything else.
Okay.
In the beginning, and then there's like getting used to these sort of I don't know, like how we were raised and things like that.
Sure. Yeah. Was there
like before we got married and I met my wife's parents, I think my mother-in-law was a little like 6 months of prayer with God. Like, why?
Wow, what's happening?
Yeah.
This is a great test, Lord. Yeah.
Yeah, very funny, but let's like nix this. Yeah, so the big concern was like, I'm 6 years younger.
Are you?
Yeah. So I'm younger, I'm not Korean, and then I'm pursuing comedy.
Yeah. Okay.
So it was kind of like three pretty big things.
Those are pretty big things.
Yeah.
Did it take I don't know, like convincing? Did you have like a sit down at all? Because I will tell you that like with my experience, I had a like sit down with them where I like presented my case, like, you know what I'm saying? And it was like very formal. It was like I went through, that's why I don't fear a Google interview or anything like that, because I went through a very tough committee interview with two very combative Korean parents. So like, you know, that was sort of my thing.
And love is on the line. So it's like,
it really was. It was gnarly, man. So yeah, I don't know if there was anything. I mean, they sounded like they were, you know, kind of, they weren't like antagonistic, but like, was there like a,
No.
you know what, I do need to have like a sit down and kind of like lay out my case.
That sit down happened when I was like asking for her hand in marriage.
Oh shit!
It's like very traditional. So we like went out to a cafe, and like that morning, my wife was like, you know, she went and talked to her mom. Was like, Paul wants to take you and Appa out, you know, for lunch to talk to you guys, and she obviously knows why and like what's coming. So she's like, this is a decision involving both of you, so you're gonna make it together, so you both come to this lunch.
Sure.
So I was like, thank God that like we're both going. So it was at that lunch when I was like asking for her hand in marriage that mom explicitly said, she's like, you know, I'm concerned of how you're gonna take care of my daughter.
Yeah.
And Esther, my wife, like jumped in before I could even start talking. I was like,
so she was there. God. She was there the whole time.
Yeah, she was there the whole time.
Yeah. Okay.
You know, and so we like laid out a case together. We were on the same page, laying out like, well, here's what Paul does. Here's like his future goals and everything like that. And here's what we're planning together. And I think it was like convincing enough.
Yeah.
But probably not like, it didn't make her like super happy, but like convincing enough to be like, okay.
Right.
Well, you're healthy and you're Christian. So
yeah.
That is like more weight.
Yeah, I definitely feel like with Asian parents, or at least, you know, maybe Korean parents, it's like, you know, are you gonna have to turn to selling your body, or are you gonna have, you know what I'm saying? Like we want to avoid the major things like that, and as long as you kind of steer clear of things like that, then you're gonna be all right, you know. So, but it is kind of funny to like say out loud how you plan to like take care of somebody, because I feel oftentimes even as adults, you don't really know, you know what I'm saying? Even to take care of yourself, right? Like from day to day, I have no idea how I'm going to eat and get food. I really don't know what's going to happen, you know?
Yeah. And like the whole time I was answering, I was like, this is such BS, you know? I was like, there's so many holes in this plan. It's a bad plan. But you know, you're in love and you're like, but that has to win. Right.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. That's hilarious. So like, have you've been together a while. How old are your children?
6 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And how old's your oldest?
He's 4.
Oh my gosh, that's awesome.
Yeah. Oldest is 4 and the youngest is about to turn 2.
That's great. So like, are you learning a lot about, I assume you, like, as you were dating and stuff, you were like learning a lot about Korean stuff, Korean food, all the 400 dishes out at any given meal, you know, that kind of thing. You know?
Yeah. Like the first time I ever had Korean food was with Esther.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah.
In K-Town, like in New York City.
No, she made me
she made your food.
This spicy chicken dish, dakdoritan.
Oh wow.
Like first thing. So it was like completely world opening to me.
Yeah. Wow.
Like even just beyond Korean culture.
Sure.
Like first time eating Korean food, eating kimchi, you know, being able to point Korea out on a map, you know, that level of, because like growing up in the South, like it's just like very black and white as far as like racially. And then you go to like Northeast or the West Coast.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was like very much first introduction. And then we started watching Korean dramas
Okay.
and heavy into that. And so that helped me like learn like like things about like culture and then like speaking. And then Esther would teach me some Korean words and phrases.
Yeah, are you picking up Korean? I feel like you got a couple Korean words, you know?
Yeah, just from like watching shows, and then like I started taking Korean classes
Oh,
out here in
wow.
LA. And then
Wow.
also like her parents like 2 years ago just stopped speaking English to me.
Oh, are
So
you serious? Really?
there was one conversation with her, where her mom was like, "It's time you learn." And she gave me like some Korean language workbook from like the 80s. And yeah, like her dad will just full eye contact with me, just like speaking Korean. And I think he's confused why I don't understand
Yeah.
sometimes. So they love me as a son. I'm very grateful for that. And
Yeah,
I
that's cool.
love them so much. So I take it as a sign of like, we're comfortable with you. We're family.
Right. Right. Paul, that's where you're wrong. This is a flex. Okay. This is a power move on their part. 100%.
Yeah.
They're not even speaking Korean. It's in Spanish. Okay, my friend.
Yeah.
Let's fuck with him and Paul as much as possible.
It's just a reminder of like, this is not your home. This is our daughter.
This is our daughter.
Home.
We can cut you off at any second here
Yeah.
and just disappear. I think that's cool though. So I mean, with your kids, are you ready? Because there's like a question right now with my son. Because like, obviously he'll speak English, but like, we got to teach him Korean, but then we got to teach him like Vietnamese. And I'm like, my Vietnamese is very poor. So, or how are you kind of like handling that? Because it sounds like, you're going to get some, there's going to obviously be some polish that comes off from like, the grandparents, but like, how are you sort of like, yeah.
My wife will speak like, she'll try to speak to them in Korean like a good chunk of time. It's probably like 60% of the time. Early on, we were like, other parents were like, one parent has to stick to one language, the other parent to another language. We're like, let's do it. And then a day into that, you're like, no, I don't have the bandwidth. So it'll be like 60% of the time she'll speak to them in Korean. So like a handful of words the boys will say in Korean, and they'll know like, these two words, like this Korean word and this English word mean this thing. And then Esther's parents speak to them in Korean. So they're around it a lot. And we are, I don't know if we're mainly around like her friends and her family.
Sure.
So I think that helps too. We're constantly around Korean speaking people.
And you're like, I guess you're in Highland Park and there's a lot of Korean people there. So
yeah, I guess like we have like 4 or 5 Korean grandmas that live around us.
Oh shit, there you go.
So they like, just are all over the boys.
Stop by, say hello. I think that's cool. Are you teaching them Paul, are you teaching them white things like cornhole? That's your that's important too.
Like, son, this is Blink 182.
That's amazing.
I think about that a lot too. And I think every once in a while I'll get this, maybe it's in my head, like sense from like my family, kind of like, yeah, but what about our Swedish side?
Oh, right. Yeah.
But it's like, my family heritage is like Swedish, Norwegian, and German. It's like, we didn't grow up speaking, or we just grew up being like white people in Florida. So like we'll do like one Swedish holiday during Christmas.
Sure.
And I feel like that's what I contribute from my side.
Otherwise, I say I like Monster energy drinks
but it's like, my wife was raised in California. I was raised in Florida. So it's like there's some shared cultural things, but I don't think I'm adding anything that's different as far as like, hey, here's my white culture.
Yeah.
That's a dark road to go down.
Yeah, no, that's a weird one. Yeah. You have to go on the internet for that.
Son, these are our people.
These are our values. All right. This is our flag, and this is not our president. So, you know, you and I go way back, and you know Fumi, and Fumi always wanted to have you on the show because he was fascinated with the idea that you were a Christian and not as a bit. And that was really the thing. And we've talked, me and Jenny, the other co-hosts have talked about kind of religion loosely. I was like raised Catholic. And there's a lot of times where I'm like, man, God is pretty cool. That's like the way I would think about it. It's like, I believe that there is, I would say I'm not a spiritual person. I do want to kind of keep it old school and like there is a God, right?
Yeah.
And I want to believe in that, but then there's so many times where I'm like, Catholicism is so stupid. It is so dumb, and like I'll listen to some old dude who just has not had sex ever, and I'm just like, dude, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's crazy. And I don't know if you ever, I don't know where this is gonna go, but I don't know if you ever get like bothered with. Okay, let me tell you something. I'm on Twitter a lot. There's nothing more terrifying than if I see someone like a reply guy and his bio says, Father Christian. And I'm like, oh no.
Oh, hey. Let me stop you. As a Christian, not as a bit Christian. Like,
not as a bit.
I love Jesus guy. Yeah. When I see those profiles on Twitter, I'm like, oh no.
No,
oh no, not one of you. That because it's like if this is what you have to like blast out on Twitter,
right,
to be like, that's me. This is the one true. Yeah, I'm like, I don't trust you. I don't trust your intentions.
No,
and it may be like harsh judgment on some people, but it's like if I see an American flag with a cross in front of it, I'm like,
yes, absolutely, If you got that,
so I'm with you on that.
It's those things, and like I don't know, Jets fans. Those are dicey. I heard, and I hope this is cool to talk about. You saved yourself for marriage. And I again, I feel Fumi was very obsessed with this because his brand is very horny, and I would be remiss if I didn't also ask you this question. I don't even know where you want to take this.
Oh yeah, I mean that was like a huge part of my material, like before I got married.
Okay.
And it was very liberating for me when I was still a virgin.
Sure.
And I had one of my best friends in comedy found out, and he's like, you have to talk about that.
Yeah.
And I was so afraid to because through high school, if anyone finds out you haven't had sex in high school, they're like, you're gay. What? Or, they make fun of you. And so I was always terrified to let people know that I was a virgin. I was saving myself.
Sure.
Just, people are like, oh, you're that type of Christian. It's like the whole like Twitter avatar thing. You're like, you're that guy. But when I started talking about it and just being open about it on stage, I just felt like, so empowered about it and more comfortable about it. And people were actually very supportive of it because they're like, yeah, I would never do that. But I think that's crazy. But you have that belief and you're sticking to it, and that's hard. So yeah, I talked about it a lot. And then once I got married, talked about like, getting to the Holy Land. Get
into the Holy Land. I think that's cool. I think I don't even think it's that crazy. I feel that like Gen Z like has like discovered this concept again. And I think there's some studies that are like, oh, people are like having sex less than now, whatever, probably because we don't have a future as a species. But
they're like, let's just kind of like curb this off.
Exactly. We're just exit stage left. So I don't even think it's that. I feel like there was a time, it's like the 90s for sure. It was like
the American Pie era.
Yes.
Very much like You got
Yeah. I mean, the whole joke is that is being a virgin is like the joke of the movie. You know?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
So like, there's nothing more hilarious that can happen to a guy than not having sex. So like that. So like it made sense in the '90s and then kind of like the early 2000s, and like, but I feel it kind of petered off after a while, where people were like, all right, let's just
people don't care as much anymore, and unless you try to like shove it on people. And I never would want to do that. Like, whenever I talk about it, I try to be like, this is just what I chose. I don't think you're an evil person going to hell just because you are out there fornicating.
I try to use that word whenever I can.
You have to.
Do you feel like, hey, you got kids and you're married and everything like that. Do you feel like, I don't know, looking back, it was, I don't want to say worth it is not like the word I want to mean, but
100% worth it. Yes.
Yeah. Okay.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So many guys would be obsessed with asking of like what if the sex isn't good, or like, how do you know, like taste the rainbow, man, get out there. But I'm like, but that's not what sex means to me,
Sure.
Obviously I want it and I'm thinking about it all the time.
Yeah.
But also that's something that I want just between me and my wife. So yeah, it's going to suck when we first do it, but like, we get to figure out together, and I get to figure out what she likes and she gets to figure out what I like, and not this whole like library of like, here's what all these other women want that I'm going to just throw at you. But we're starting just like square one with what we like together.
Right.
So
I think too, I'm thinking of all like the stand-up bits I've heard about how, a lot of times men, like, somebody had this great bit about you when you have sex with a man, exactly how his last partner wanted to have sex. That, you know what I'm saying? And as a guy, you're just like, oh, well, I'll just, like, you just hit all the buttons at once.
I'll just do all of this.
I'll just do all the moves at once.
I'll mash the buttons on the controller. I will literally mash the buttons. Yeah, exactly. I defeat Bowser. Yeah.
until like something flashes, and then I shoot it with the missile launcher. So yeah, that's how. Yeah, that does make a lot of sense. I mean, for sure. I don't think having a lot of partners makes you good at sex. I mean, I'm actually pretty sure that's not possible.
Look, I genuinely don't know, so maybe it could.
I don't think so. I don't know. Yeah, I think that's cool, man. I think you've convinced me. I'm going to talk to my wife now.
Y'all are going to be virgins now.
We're going to be virgins. We're going to save ourselves, baby.
Well, you know me, Mike. You know me, right?
I know.
If you know
Dude.
this, if you know anything about me, you know that I'm out there.
Yes. You're out there.
I'm out there pounding, and a lot of people are like, "Fumi, why are you so good at pounding?" And by a lot of people,
yeah. I always ask that. I don't even believe you.
By a lot of people, I just mean Mike. The secret is, it is Helix Sleep Mattress. Helix Sleep has a quiz that takes just 2 minutes to complete and matches your body type and sleep preferences to the perfect mattress for you. Why would you buy a mattress made for someone else? With Helix, you're getting a mattress that you know will be perfect for the way you sleep and pounding.
Everybody's unique and pounds uniquely, and Helix knows that. So they have several different mattress models to choose from. They have soft, medium, and firm. Wink, wink. Mattresses. Mattresses great for cooling you down if you get hot. And even a Helix Plus mattress for plus-size sleepers, because, hey, man, everybody needs love.
Just go to helixsleep.com/Asian. Take their 2-minute sleep quiz, and they'll match you to the customized mattress that will give you the best sleep/pound of your life.
They have a 10-year warranty, and you get to try it out for free for 100 nights, risk-free. They'll even pick it up for you if you don't love it, but you will.
Helix is offering up to $200 off all mattress orders and 2 free pillows for our listeners at helix.com/Asian.
That's helix.com/Asian for up to $200 off. And when you're doing your threesomes, 2 free pillows.
Now back to this.
Now a word from our sponsor, BetterHelp. I wanted to talk about a time when I really got stuck on a problem. It was when I was first thinking about making that big move to New York, and instead of trying to figure things out like where I was going to live, I just focused on how afraid I was. It can be tough to train your brain to stay in problem-solving mode when you're under a lot of stress and facing challenges, but a therapist can help you find a better mindset so you can accomplish your goals. I use my therapy experience to help me realize when I'm having intrusive, unhelpful thoughts and to refocus on solving my problems. I use the skills I learned in therapy to this day. I even use them today. Therapy can be like a set of tools I carry around with me everywhere I go. If you're thinking about doing therapy, consider BetterHelp. It's affordable and it's online, which is important because I think anything that makes therapy more accessible is great. When you want to be a better problem solver, therapy can get you there. Visit betterhelp.com/Asian today to get 10% off your first month. That's betterhelp.com/Asian.
I follow you on Instagram. Your kids are adorable.
Thank you.
We did talk about, you spiraling us a little bit with being a dad. I think it's tough. I want to ask you just as an opener for being a father. Are you as obsessed with strollers as I am? Because I am very obsessed with strollers. Maybe it's a New York City thing. I just got this new one.
Yeah.
And
what model did you get? What are the specs? What specs are we talking?
Here. All right, I got a Ford. It's a new Ford. No, I got a what is it called? Baby Zen Yo-Yo 2.
The Yo-Yo, baby.
I got the Yo-Yo 2.
That's it. You can collapse it in one motion.
It's really cool. Before this, I had a baby. I mean, I still have it. I have a baby jogger, which let me tell you, I got it because like a couple of books and like, I don't know, Wirecutter said, this is the one to get, blah, blah, blah. And I've realized now what people think of as being good does not work in New York City. What works in other places doesn't work. I do like it. It's very robust, but it is like driving a yacht. Okay. It is so big and it's so wide. It like barely fits through doors sometimes. And so I had to get this other one. And can I tell you something? My son, he goes to his pediatrician is in Prospect Heights, very nice part of Brooklyn. And everybody parks their strollers out front. Oh my God, dude. It's like fucking Monaco. Okay. Yeah. Where you're just like, you're like sweating. You're like, oh my God, everybody has Nunas and and oh my God,
the Upper Baby, the Upper Baby for miles.
Is that an Upper Baby? Oh God, they got the fucking dual baby extension thing and the
yeah.
Is that a fucking spoiler on the back of the fucking,
You got NOS? How do you
got NOS on that? Is that Vin Diesel? Oh my God, is fucking Vin Diesel? Dude, and the social pressure is so high.
It's so stupid.
It's so dumb. But I can't help it. I'm like rolling up in my like fucking Aerostar of a fucking stroller. And I can tell everybody, I mean, I can see in their eyes. Yeah. I can see in there that they're judging with their eyes. Oh, this guy's a bad father. I can see it in their eyes. And I'm just
you don't care about your son, so you just threw him in that dumpster on wheels.
Oh, you're okay with child abuse. I see.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
We have an extra seat in ours if he wants to hitch a ride.
If you ever want to give your son up for adoption, I mean,
to a better life,
where we have another seat on the Upper Baby. So that's how so I got this thing and I feel better. Although hilariously, my son hates it. My son does not like it.
Yo-yo?
He the yo-yo. I put him into this evening to like run an errand. He was crying and he's like, he doesn't like it. I think it's like he's used to the yacht. He's used to the yacht.
He hates it now, but he will prefer it. I promise you.
You think so? Yeah.
Same thing happened with us.
Okay.
Yeah, we used to have in New York. We like all the moms we saw had Upper Baby, so we're like, there we go. Let's spend
we got
$50,000.
Dude, it's so expensive. Oh my God.
And so we got the Upper Baby, and it's like the Chariot. It's a smooth ride for the city, and like that's like your car in the city.
Right. It is.
And then we started like traveling. We went to like the yo-yo can just go in the overhead bin on the airplane. Right. It's amazing. So at like 2 years old, that's when he switched over to the yo-yo and wants the yo-yo.
Oh,
It's
really?
easier to get in and out of. That's why
Got
I
it.
like it.
Okay. So I'm gonna hold on to it. I have like a fucking stable of strollers. Another thing, okay, I have a third one because we went on vacation, and I don't know if you've ever had an incredible brain fart like this, but we went on vacation to Cape Cod, and we packed up. We got a rental car. I packed it up. Our luggage, the kids' luggage,
So
the
much luggage.
oh my God, I had all the I had like coolers for different things.
Oh,
it was
God.
he's in a child seat. He's got like all this stuff on. We get in the car, we're driving. We get like we get like an hour outside of New York City. My wife turns to me and goes, "We forgot the stroller." And
That shit happens all the time.
the stroller. Oh my God. And we literally stopped by a Target and bought a $30 umbrella stroller, just like
Yeah.
and thank God no one from Prospect Heights could see me because they would have called the police. They would have Karen.
They would have been like, is this a bit? Are you
Yeah. Super funny, Mike.
super funny, Mike? I mean, shitty parenting, but super funny.
Yeah. I don't know if you had anything like real where you're like, wow, I'm so glad that Child Protective Services didn't see this.
Yeah. We've like tipped the strollers over before and all that stuff. The boys fight over the stroller all the time now.
Really?
So if the youngest one is in the stroller, the oldest either wants his stroller, he's like, no, it's my turn. You're like, dude, just walk. But they're both getting like out of the stroller zone, which is great. I'm so tired of the stroller game.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
But when they're little, it's great.
Yeah. I saw this thread on Reddit, and it was like just like ask men or something, ask Reddit. It was like, what would you say to someone if you're a father? What would you say to someone who is on the fence about having kids? And I don't know. And I was thinking about it, and for me, I think deep down always wanted kids. It was like not even a thing. It wasn't even a question. If my wife and I had a very long kind of process and journey for that, and if we didn't have kids, we would be okay with it. But I think we both wanted kids. So it was like something for me wasn't like even like something where I was like weighing it. And I feel for me, it's not like this isn't like should I get the salad or not? This is not like that kind of question.
I'll send it back if I don't.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have a nibble. Like, and it's not a simple question of like, should I or shouldn't I, have it? Because like, I feel objectively speaking, you should not. Like,
yeah. No, I'm with you. And I've had this conversation with two different people in the past week where I'm like, if you are on the fence of like, oh, maybe, or I don't know if I want, like, just don't do it.
Right.
If you really want to and you have to, absolutely, because it's life-changing and it's the highest of highs and the lowest of lows and just the deepest of deepest joy.
Yes.
But if you're on the fence, it's hard. So just live life.
Yeah, absolutely.
My wife hates that response, but
what did she say?
Because she's like, because when you experience the joys of it, the life-changing joys of this child of yours, she's like, go for it. Even if you're on the fence, just go for it. She's in that camp.
Yeah. Okay. That makes sense. Yeah. I mean, because again, I feel it's like, I don't know, in some ways it is kind of like getting married. It's not, it's, like objectively, there's so many negatives. If you draw like a plus, minus thing, I feel like such an 80s comedian, like my wife, but this guy here, but if you I feel if you wanted to, if you think about it from your brain, it's like a no. And then, but like, that's kind of like the cool part. I think as a comedian, especially, I'm in my head constantly.
Yeah.
And this is like not about that at all. You know what I'm saying? This is a completely other part of your brain, or not even your brain. It's like another part of your stomach thinking. It's
being.
Yeah, exactly. So that's sort of like the way I would go with it.
Okay, guys, I don't want you to freak out. I don't want you to get all fixated on this, but think about how dirty your butthole is right now. Yes, I said it. When's the last time you washed it after pooping? Never? You just use toilet paper? That makes it even worse. It's time you started washing your tush with the Hello Tushy bidet. I got one a long time ago. It was an anniversary gift. I love it. I tell you, I feel like that fancy French guy meme. You know the one I'm talking about. It's so cleansing. It's so nice. The Hello Tushy bidet attachment washes your bum with fresh water for a way better clean than toilet paper. Simply spray and pat dry it. And it attaches to your existing toilet. Even someone with a sociology degree like me can install it, all right? We want all of our listeners to have clean bums. Visit hellotushy.com/ANA to get 10% off plus free shipping right now. Go do it. That's hellotushy.com/ANA for 10% off. You know what's not fair? The fact that Netflix hides thousands of shows and movies based on your location and then has the nerve to increase prices on you. That's right, they just raised their prices once again. I don't know how much it is, $4 million a month? You know what you can do? Do what I do. Use ExpressVPN. Using ExpressVPN, I can control which country I want Netflix to think I'm in. ExpressVPN has over 90 countries to choose from, so every time I run out of stuff, I just switch to another country. Boom, bam, I'm in the UK. Now I'm in Canada. I can always watch all sorts of fun stuff. I like to use it to watch things from BBC iPlayer. It's free and it's only available in the UK. ExpressVPN is also super fast and works on your phone, laptop, even smart TV, so you can watch your shows on the big screen with zero buffering. So stop paying full price for streaming services and only getting access to a fraction of their content. Get your money's worth at expressvpn.com/Asian. Don't forget to use my link so you can get 3 extra months of ExpressVPN free. That's expressvpn.com/Asian. expressvpn.com/Asian.
We're with our guest, Paul Schissler, and comedian, Christian, but not that kind. Nice boy. Good dad. And want to get into some voicemails. We have one. We love to hear from our listeners. If you want to drop a voicemail, it's real easy. It's just a voicemail box. You can call 646-809-7231. That's 646-809-7231. And you can leave a little message. Just let us know what kind of Asian were you this week? Or just tell us, if you have a question about something's Asian or not Asian. We'll discuss it live on the show.
Hi, Jenny and Mike. So this past week, I've been kind of like what's the word? Why am I blanking on this? Like a shocked Asian, I guess. And what I mean by that is I found out that I'm pregnant a couple of weeks ago, and this was planned. So it wasn't like too crazy of a surprise, but it was still a really pleasant surprise. And then, having to read through all these paperwork and documentations of how my body is going to change. If you couldn't tell, I'm the female in the couple. My partner husband is not the one having the baby. I'm the one that's pregnant. And yeah, just like learning all these things that the female body does to like conceive a child, I realized like it's like a crazy amount of work. And I remember Mike in like one episode you mentioning how like basically moms have to do a lot of work. So number one, I guess I'm shocked that for the amount of work that the woman has to go through to have a baby is like, it's a crazy amount of work, not just the physical part, but like the mental part. And then thinking about like what's going to happen to my job and all these other things that I used to do in my normal life, but now I can't do. And then my kind of negative mindset turns to like, it just doesn't make sense that then women are paid less than men, or we just don't get, I think, enough recognition for all the things that we do for human society. Does that make sense? I just think the amount of work that women have to do to have a baby, like it warrants so much.
I'm like right there with her.
I am too, and I try to think of it as that I get to have credit for bringing this child into this world is like the ultimate group project where the other person did all of the work, and I just I get to put my name on the
like, dude, we made an A. We got an A.
Great job, teamwork, bro.
Sick.
Dude, it is crazy.
That is exactly it. And I want to like sit down with her and her husband, with my wife too, and really like grip them with this, that like it's not on you to deal with all the appointments by yourself. Like, yeah, you should take off work and go to these appointments with her. All that stuff. Like, it's not just on you to like go and check up on the baby, even though it's in her body. Take off work. She has to take off work. Go to those appointments with her.
Yeah, dude.
All that stuff. Like, that's on you too.
Yeah.
These are your problems to figure out together, not just on her. So don't feel guilty about telling him to like do what he needs to do.
100%. There's no way I feel that a basic ass man like us can even come close to like matching parity. So throw a bunch of shit at us, and we still will be behind.
Yeah.
This is great. This is, nothing like talking about pregnancy, but then two cis het.
Mike, if I can just butt in as a straight white man to explain something.
Can I explain something? Hold on, Paul. Can I explain something to you then? Just two mansplainers interrupting each other for 90 minutes. Well, first of all, congratulations to that listener. And I think it's really huge congrats. I think that's good advice for the partner is, hey, get in there, take some time off, do your thing. I think it is pretty insane, the tomfoolery we have when it comes to people who bear children, and the wool we pulled over their eyes as far as like what they deserve. So definitely, if you can support, you need to get in there and support and support your partner. So I think that's the only thing. It's otherwise a crazy adventure where you will be talking about strollers quite a bit, and
you'll be hyped about them.
You'll be hyped about it, but I don't know if there's any other like things for me. So my son is 6 months old, and I know listeners, I've been talking. This is just full dad mode this episode. If there's anything, you got for me, now my son is, again, he's about 6 months old, going back to work. If there's anything, kind of last minute advice you got from me.
Oh, me to you?
Yeah.
This time that you're in, 6 months, where you can just hold him and he's not moving, like sit in that.
Yeah. Okay.
Like, don't be ready for him to get past that. Cause now mine are at the age where they're just running around and like you want to hug them and they're starting to get like, squirm away, just keep running. So like in this stage where they can just sit in like the crook of your arm and not move, just really breathe that in.
That's great. I do try to do that. The other day he falls asleep on me all the time. And I'm like, this is awesome.
Smell him. You just you take a hit of that.
Yo, man, you ever take a hit of a 6 month old, man?
It's crazy that, I miss it. And then, the early days, the poop doesn't smell that bad.
It really is not that bad.
It's kind of really like a buttery,
like a Swiss chard a little bit.
A little baby poop sommelier. What
is that?
But, then it just keeps getting grosser and grosser.
Yeah, he just started eating some solid food. So it is already starting to get a little bit weird. Paul, thanks for being on the show. One more thing we do want to like to do before we leave. We'd like to play the Asian not Asian game. So what happens is I'm going to list out a couple things that we talked about on the show, and you're going to tell us if it's Asian or not Asian. You just have to say, I'm
the right authority to do.
You are the right authority to talk about this. Okay, the first one, of course, the thing we've been talking about quite a bit: strollers. Asian or not Asian? Strollers.
Asian.
Yeah? Okay, why?
Yeah. Okay, well, you want the best of the best with the best specs, and there's also a status thing of like, which level stroller did you get and which brand did you get? And like, is it the most efficient? Is it the most like, can it fold up easily? And the only reason I say that is like my side of the family, white people, it's just like, yeah, you get the cheap one that, you know, some neighbor was tossing out or something.
Whoa. Oh, really? Man, I didn't. See, you're teaching me. You're teaching me about my culture. Thank you so much, Paul. Because that makes a lot of sense. That does make a lot of sense. Okay, so strollers are Asian. I'm going to accept that as the correct answer. How about this? The egg avatar on Twitter. That, you know, the egg avatar? That's the first one you have? Yeah. What do we think? Asian or not Asian?
Not Asian.
I'm inclined to agree, but why?
The answer comes from like a gut instinct answer. So to explain it, I think because we were talking about the, you know, someone hiding behind a, you know, cross an American flag just to say whatever the hell they want and like come at people and be like, these are my thoughts, take them. Feels very like white American.
Yeah, so, that's the one. That feels it. Virginity.
I feel like this is a trap to.
Oh man.
Okay.
That's a good one.
I'm gonna say I don't want to answer this. Letter C, Christian.
Yes, there you go.
You know, I think it's pretty split. Maybe that's like a cop-out answer.
I can see that.
I feel like it's pretty split.
Yeah. I feel.
What's your answer to that? What's the answer on that?
You know, that's a good question. You know, I'm going to go to the judges here. I'm going to go to the judges. I feel virginity is not Asian, but it's because Asian people, we don't even talk about that. We just go straight to the children. We don't talk about, it's, you know what I'm saying? It's like not like you have to be a virgin. No, we would never say that. We would just be like, you graduate college and you have grandchildren. You just go one right into the next.
Yeah.
That's, I think, you know, so you're skipping over that virginity, the sticky virginity question.
Yeah.
That's what I think would happen.
Okay.
So I don't think you're wrong. I think it is kind of it's a tricky one. Let's just say that.
But the way you articulated that is just, that's great.
That's why I'm the expert, baby. Paul, thank you so much for joining us on this very awesome late night edition.
To be on with you. Yeah.
It's great to talk to you again. Where can our fans find you and your work?
You can find, I have a podcast with a butt out called The Paul and Tom Show, anywhere you can find podcasts. And then I'm on, you know, Instagram, Twitter at Paul Schissler.
Boom. Check out that awesome Swedish culture that he represents hardcore.
That Swedish Floridian culture.
Dude, thank you again for being on the show. You can always check out us on Instagram at Asian Pod. You can find me on there at Nice Pants Bro. We got a couple of shows coming up. We have a live podcast recording that's going to be October 28th. That's a caveat in New York City. And we've got stand-up shows. You can check out those dates on in the episode description, depending on when you're listening to this, because there's one in Los Angeles and now there's one in Brooklyn. And please check those out and support us and check us out on Patreon. Give us leave a review on the various apps that you're using. And I think that's it. Thank you again, Paul.
Thank you so much. I love you all.
Man. We'll see you guys later. Bye.